looked it up, but I've just heard people talking about it. Peter reveals himself to Jonah as Spider-Man.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
I hate that series, but Anthony was kind of like hinting, yeah, I know you hate this, but I think you should read this issue, and I just kind of just looked it up. That's what I got. So,
IGN gave it a 9.2.
Yeah, I don't trust IGN's comic reviews really.
Not all.
Their reviews are like less than a paragraph for most of their books. Unless it's like a huge event book, they'll like cover it, like give it a full, actual, detailed review. But other than that, the reviews are like 3 sentences.
Short.
And all I do for the IGN reviews is I go right to the comments and just read people arguing with each other.
They have the funniest. Like Bleeding Cool is toxic. Newsarama is kind of medium.
Yeah. Bleeding Cool has totally taken a dump all over itself lately. Like it's half as interesting as it used to be.
It's the worst. The worst.
Yeah.
In the comment section is the worst comment section in all of comic book internet comic section. The comment section.
All bunch of assholes. 4 people too. Yeah, it's like 4 people that just repeatedly argue with each other all day long.
A lot of right-wing people too. Kind of crazy how much. That's where I saw the comment about Captain America, where the guy was like, "Oh, they're giving Nazis a bad name." I was like, "What?" They're like, "Why do there have to be Nazis?"
Some of these people are out of control. They make everything political. I'm like, I like comic books just because it takes me away from like the nightly news, which is all just like both sides shitting all over each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, there's
that's
depends what channel you watch.
When he started mentioning, I'm like, who cares? I was like, who cares if it's not? Who cares? Whatever it is, it's a bad guy. A bad guy's a bad guy. Does it have to be political? No, it's just a bad guy. Like,
yeah, I guess I'll download Spectaculars, but I got so much to read and catch up on, like digitally. I've kind of neglected my digital books lately.
I got them all on my tablet, and I can't. Like, I haven't been able to read them yet because the first couple issues, I'm 3 behind, but I'm like, I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to read the ones fucking before it. I'm just going to read this one. Because I can't deal with that book. I just can't.
Flipping through it right now. It looks like they just sit at a table and eat dinner with each other and talk about stories.
Yeah. Like, it's not going to be I'm going to probably just read the last 3 pages and see the fucking end.
Oh, shit.
Numbers of these books, and then we're going to go here. All right. Here we go. All right, so before we start here, we got any objections to this lineup? Moon Knight, Master of Kung Fu, Daredevil, and Gwenpool next week.
Where do we look at it?
It's at the very bottom. I got like the ones we haven't done bolded. The ones we have done aren't bolded.
No, I was looking at the list and I was like, there's not a lot. And when I thought to myself, those are. I didn't. There was the 4th one I couldn't think of, but Moon Knight, Master of Kung Fu, and Daredevil are the 3 that I came up with that I thought I wanted to do. So that works out perfect.
We've never done Gwenpool, so I figure we'll do Gwenpool because I didn't feel like doing She-Hulk.
No.
And Jessica Jones, I know literally I've never read one issue of Jessica Jones yet.
And we've already done Deadpool, Falcon, Spirits of Vengeance.
Spider-Man Deadpool is an okay book. It's not that great though, since Joe Kelly's not on it anymore.
Oh, well, that's Robbie Thompson, Chris Pichello, right? Interesting, but let's do.
Yeah, and then Venom. We did like a whole month of Venom, so I'm taking a little Venom break. Right.
I'm an issue behind on that because I'm all Venom out right now.
Yeah, I got to catch up on Venom too. That's the one reason even though I liked Venom verse and all that shit, I'm a little hesitant about this Spider-Man Venom crossover coming up because I'm like, I've had so much Venom in my life.
Yeah,
I need a little break.
And the X-Men Blue thing, I'm like, I know.
I don't need it in all books all the time.
That's why I'm behind.
I think after this, it's going to be a long break for Venom for me after that crossover. But
I don't even think I'm going to read the regular one.
Yeah, I know. It's time for me to take a break.
All right.
All right. Welcome, everybody. This is episode number 27 of the Marvel Madness Comics podcast. This is going to be Legacy month number 2. So week 1, month 2 of Legacy. Really spotlight we've been doing for you guys. I am Brandon, as always, joined by my man Trevitt.
What's
how you doing,
up?
Trevitt?
Pretty good.
Doing all right. Yeah, we're gonna just a quick mini spoiler for the end segment of the episode after our last book. We're gonna talk a little Thor Ragnarok. Just tell you buy, borrow, or forget for the movie, and then so if you haven't seen it, you'll want to skip the end segment and come back when you have. But yeah, anyway, we're going to get into our mission statement. We're going to tell you guys how we review these books, what books we're doing. We actually got some reader emails to go over today, or not reader emails, but listener emails. I'm sorry. So we're going to discuss some of that stuff, tell you guys how to get a hold of us if you're interested. Of course, Midpoint Marvelous Facts, the books, the sign out segment, everything you guys are used to. But let's get into it here and get this going. Mission statement, of course, is we bring you guys 3 to 4 books each week. This week we're going to do 4 for you in our Legacy Week 5 lineup as we continue to strive and fulfill our mission of providing you the ins and outs of the Marvel comic book universe. In between talking books, we chit-chat about some of Marvel's latest news, rumors, titles, characters, fun facts, and all that fall under the general going-ons of Earth Prime's umbrella. We try to cover a variety of titles for you guys each month in an effort to avoid any repetitiveness and an attempt to keep things fresh and informative for listeners. Are you all right over there?
Did you hear that? Because I was turning down.
Yeah, it sounded like something fell.
Oh no, I was turning down my microphone because I was sneezing.
All right. The books are currently divided, or the books are currently not divided into our beloved categories each week. We'll get back to that after kind of Legacy pattern gets old, which is probably going to be after December. But anyway, we do focus on Legacy again this month, and we're going to bring you 4 books, like I mentioned, which are going to be Power Pack number 63 first, and then Guardians of the Galaxy 146 second, Spider-Man 234 number 3, and Captain America 695 as our final book tonight. And we rate all those titles honestly and cover them based on our just general own opinions of buy, borrow, or forget it altogether, which basically means buy it now, borrow, get a code, one of those digital codes in the book from a friend, or forget it altogether means don't drop a dime on the book or bother hunting it down. You can skip it and really not to worry too much about it. But if you guys are looking to get a hold of us, as several people did this week, we have 2 ways to do so. We got the Twitter account, which is popping. That's at Madness Marvel 1. We throw some free digital codes up there for you guys. I got 2 up there this week. I don't know if they're claimed or not, but Old Man Logan 31 or 30 and Spider-Man 234 are hanging out up there. If they're not claimed, check that out. We retweet New Comic Book Day polls, so tag us in those. We'll get that out there. And yeah, our DMs are open for business. So if you want to shoot us a line there, you can. Contact with us.
Did you see that?
Yeah, the dude trying to pimp his country music this week.
I saw I got the notification on my phone. I was like, what the fuck?
See, I usually don't respond to those, but the music guys, sometimes I'll hit them up because you can get some good tunes and stuff. Like that's how me and Jim got the intro to our Sports Nut podcast.
Oh yeah?
Was from one of those, yeah. And but yeah, this guy, he's like, what do you listen to? I'm like, it's mostly rap beats. And this guy did not look like a rap guy. No. And then he responds back to us with, you like country? Nobody. I don't, unless there are girls in cowboy boots and tank tops involved, I do not like country music.
No.
But I will go to a country music concert for that reason alone.
I always get these notifications from some people, because we get a lot of random people who just say random things or want us to check out stuff that has nothing to do with comic books at all, and I'm like, fucking weird, man.
yeah, I know. Yeah, we get some weird DMs, but yeah, we do read them and we check them out. So if you got something worthwhile to say, hit us up there. If you got some music to share or intros, or like even you guys want to create a segment, and we'll throw it in like in our PSA area or whatever, we can do that.
Yeah, go for it.
But yeah, Marvel Madness 0@gmail.com is our email. And Trevor does have a couple emails. You got those bad boys pulled up?
Yeah, actually I do. Yeah.
All right. So Trevor's going to read those. We're going to see what our listeners have to say, and we got a simultaneous cherry pop this week. So yeah, let's see what's going on here. I'm excited.
All right,
I've read the one, but I don't think what do we got? Two?
Yeah, we got two. We got one from Joe Crawford and one from Sean Romero.
Yeah, Joe Crawford, probably our first listener that I know of ever that actually contacted us, let us know that somebody was actually listening and it wasn't all just bots and random downloads. So what's Joe got to say?
All right, so Joe said finished up the episode last night. I'm assuming the last episode. Sounds like I missed out on U.S. Avengers and Wolverine. My store didn't have either one. That's a bummer. I fucking hate when that happens. They used to have them
Yeah, I
all
know.
the time. So I may have to track them down in back issues, or it sounds like maybe the trade for Wolverine. I just finished a huge stack of Power Pack recently. That's good. I was so kind of confused when I read this week's that I wish I checked out a bunch of Power Pack.
Yeah, I know. I used to listen to this podcast. They don't do it anymore, I don't think. I forget what it was called. It was some X-Men podcast. But one of the hosts used to like just rave about when he was a kid how much he loved fucking Power Pack.
Power Pack, yeah.
So that was part of the reason like I put it on here, because I wanted to see what it was about. Because I never read one before. But yeah, we'll discuss it later. But yeah, Power Pack seems to be like a cult favorite of, people that read comic books in the late 80s or early 90s.
Early 90s. Yeah, I'm going to have to ask my brother about that because he probably has the whole entire run. So he says, great series from when I was a kid. There we go right there. Finished the new one-shot. I'm not sure how it will play with someone who has never read the book, but I liked it. I think I will check out Dark Horse and Master of Kung Fu as well. Thanks for the show, guys. You always do a great job. I know because I have to keep myself from going to buy the books after you guys post or talk about them. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, no, I run into that problem too. I only have so much room in long boxes downstairs, and I don't want to buy too many more because it's getting a little ridiculous how many comic boxes I have. But I'm with you there, Joe. I can feel your pain. Like when I hear another podcast or something discuss a good book, I'm like, fuck, I should get that one.
yeah, me too. Like, I download them all anyway, but I have. Space is such an issue because I haven't bought comic books in a few months because I'm unemployed right now, but I still have stacks. I have 6 long boxes filled, and then I have stacks on my desk, on my table, on my bed, on my end table next to my bed, stacks on top of all my trade paperbacks and my bookshelf, stacks on top of my long boxes. Yeah. I have no place to put them. I have to move them to go to bed every night.
What I'm gonna do this year for Christmas is I'm gonna schmooze the girlfriend into sending a few of these stacks I have off to get bound together. Like I want to get Secret Wars and 6 months After all bound together into one story.
Make your own omnibus.
Yeah, so I'm going to do that for a few to make a little room in my long boxes, and that's how I'm going to get around. I'd rather have it on a shelf than in a box personally. But I don't want to get rid of those single issues because they like mean things to me personally.
Yeah.
So I think this will be a good compromise, and I've wanted to try this out. So I'm going to do it with a few of my Marvel event series first to see how I like it before I then do it to like Batman Eternals and all that stuff. So
I wanted to go through and get all the stuff that I don't really like care about or like that much because maybe someone else would like them. I don't, but like stuff
I've done that with
like that.
Yeah, my girlfriend teaches. She does middle school currently. She used to do high school. But I've given her stacks of old books that I used to have. Mostly it was some IDW stuff like Transformers and shit like that. That I just didn't want around anymore. And she gave them to kids at school that really dug them. She does a lot of like special needs teaching and stuff. I'm like, I think these are a little over those kids' heads because the Transformers books are fucking complicated. But I'm like, they were complicated for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I think they just like the pictures and shit, like to go through it, like the movies. They like the movies. So yeah, I do that with a lot of books.
Sometimes,
I
especially when
also
these kids are like kids with Tourette's or like
yeah
ADHD who can understand it, but are just a disruption in
yeah
regular class, so they might get it.
yeah. Some of the autistic kids dug them, but
Oh yeah, they probably took the
uh
pictures.
yeah, the fuck, what was I gonna say? I also use some of the shitty books, like I don't even want to give to people to know I've read, like as kindling for bonfires. And I
Yep.
know it's like frowned upon to burn books, but I'm like, fuck, man, there is nothing better than comic book kindling out there to get a fire going. I will
I never thought of
I will
that.
tell you that. So yeah, I'm not
But
trying to like, support Fahrenheit 141 or whatever the
no,
fuck it's called, but
listen, listen. They remember the Vigilante series that DC put out, the
yeah,
Vigilante mini that
yeah,
didn't even make it to an end. I have
yeah.
the first like 3 issues of that. I would fucking burn that in a heartbeat. I couldn't give that away. It'd be too embarrassing. So I totally understand where you're coming from. My
Yeah.
my sister-in-law had something similar. Like my brother's a huge comic book guy, even bigger than me. But she started like a comic book reading program. So they had like
Mhm.
he bought like the entire collection of Ultimate Spider-Man, a trade paperback. I gave all new X-Men. I accidentally bought the whole entire all new X-Men Bendis run. I bought it in the hardcover collected edition, but I wanted the regular hardcovers, not the 15 issues and one hardcover. So I ended up giving her all those and a bunch of other like astonishing X-Men ones that I got hardcovers when I wanted trades, and I just reordered them. So they have like this giant library in her classroom of all pretty awesome comic books for the kids to read. It's pretty
That
cool.
vigilante trade, I had to look it up when since you brought it up. It is still not out. It's supposed to be out February 6, 2018.
Jesus, what the fuck? I mean, it's
So
finished. Like, what's
yeah,
taking
so
so
if
long?
you've never read the end of that story, I don't know, even did it come out at the beginning of this year or beginning of last year?
I think it came out like around when Rebirth started, so maybe like last year.
Okay, yeah,
It's kind of
it's still
crazy.
not out yet. So nobody knows the end to this story so
No,
far.
didn't even finish. It got
No,
canceled at the
after
third issue.
three,
They
I think.
canceled it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
then they were like, "Oh, we're gonna put out the trade paperback later on." And I thought I saw a solicit for it that it was supposed to come out way before this February, but I guess it
yeah.
didn't
It's
work out.
6 issues. It'll be out for February, I guess,
It
if
was
anyone's
lame.
interested. Yeah, it
It
sucked,
was
but
lame.
yeah, I think we touched on all Joe's emails. Did we? Did he? Was that the end of it?
Yeah, that was the end of his, and then I got Sean's right here. So it says, "Hey, Marvel Madness podcast. I just wanted to say you guys are doing a great job with the podcast, and I'm glad you don't hold any punches back when you go over these Marvel comics. We definitely don't.
No.
Uh, your reviews of Spectacular Spider-Man and Astonishing X-Men were hilarious, but very much true. The way you guys break down each comic thoroughly with the art and dialogue is awesome. You guys make the work days go by quick and painless. I hope you guys will review Moon Knight 188. You're in luck."
Yeah.
Of the Marvel Legacy titles. Also, I would like to ask you guys what recommendations you would have for a Marvel comic series from 1990 to 2005 that was great but flew under the radar. It didn't get its due recognition. That is all I have for now. Hopefully, I didn't annoy you guys with this email. Keep up the great work and the podcast, and have a great day. Don't worry, man. You definitely didn't annoy us. We want you to email us. You can email us whenever you want. We'll read them when we record, talk about what you say. Definitely not annoying. Don't even sweat it. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good question. 1990 to 2005 that flew under the radar. That I've been thinking about that since I read the email, and I'm still trying to come up with something.
Yeah, I actually went down to my because you sent me the email earlier. I think it was last night or whatever, and
Yeah, yeah, last night.
I just went down to my shelf downstairs and started looking. Um, I don't know when the actual print date of this is, but this is one of my favorite older comics. The Wolverine Weapon X, which is basically like how Wolverine was taken by Weapon X and injected with adamantium and stuff.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
that's a pretty crazy, violent, and nutso trade paperback. I think it holds issue 72. Yeah, it says 72 to 84, but they're short. And it only collects one story because it was kind of like a dual book where it would, print one half of the book was the Weapon X story, and the second half was some other random story, I guess. So they've collected all just the Wolverine part of that story and put it in. So it's doesn't feel like you're reading 12 issues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's a sweet story. Old school Wolverine, super violent, like Weapon X style. He's never in his costume or anything like that. So that's one of my favorite kind of earlier old school. I'm a big Wolverine and Spider-Man fan. That's a lot of my Marvel trade collection. So yeah, that's the one I would recommend for his.
I got one
answer
that's
to his question there.
a little out of, I mean, I don't know if it flew under the radar because I can't remember that far back, but I never hear anyone talk about it. But it's, what is it from? Yeah, it's from 2003 to 2005. It was the Supreme Power run. There was an 18-issue run by J. Michael Straczynski and Gary Frank. I never hear anybody like talk about it ever, but it was one of my favorite comic book runs. So I would definitely check that out. Spectacular art and a great series with analogs from like DC characters. Like basically like Hyperion is fucking Superman and Nighthawk is basically Batman and all that. And they have their own Flash character and shit like that. It's really, really dope. Only it's a Marvel Knights series, so it's very explicit. And there are some crazy, disgusting things going on in that book too. So
you don't hear Marvel doesn't really advertise and pimp their super violent 90s comic books much. And I'm really I know people kind of rip and 90s has a bad vibe for comic series and shit, but some of that stuff was like all I read when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? So I'm partial to it. And if you're looking for that Wolverine one I mentioned, it's by Barry Windsor Smith. So yeah, that's who did the one I recommended, and yeah, those are two that you can check out. That you guys are curious just about past stuff we read or just older series that we don't really talk about. We always threw around when we started the podcast the idea of doing the Scarlet Spider series as maybe like a bonus thing, and because it's 5 books, it'd be a giant thing. And maybe we'll get to that one day. I still got to read it all in order. I read it as a kid, like all mismatched and out of order, and so I've never really read it in order myself, which is why I'd want to talk about it. But
I got the digital trades to have it all. Like
so did I, because I mean, some of the digital trades, if you go through the Marvel Comixology Kindle sale on Amazon, they're like super discounted a lot of the time. So I got the whole series for like $15-20.
Each fucking book, like it's a 5-book like collected edition series. Each book that I have is like a gig or over a gigabyte a piece. Like they're fucking huge, like 500 to like 700 pages a pop.
Yeah. So it's a giant project. Well, maybe that'll be a 2018 project. We'll try to get out by the end of 2018. That'll take a while.
A long while.
But who was that? That was Sean.
Yeah, Sean Romero.
Yeah, so appreciate that, Sean.
Yeah, definitely check out that Wolverine and that Supreme Power, because good stuff.
Yeah, now we got finally all that basic bit stuff covered and out of the way. We're gonna flash to our news section here. Light week, but listen for that jingle, and we'll be right back. All righty, ready?
Yeah, I'm looking at the fucking Clone Conspiracy book now because Liam Sharp did some great art. It looks like the stuff he does now too.
Yeah, it's crazy all the names you recognize when you go back in time. Now.
Yeah,
you didn't pay attention to that stuff when you were a kid, really.
Nope.
Unless it was Jim Lee, he was the only one I knew.
Yeah, me too. He was like famous.
Here we go. All right, we are back. Trevitt is going to take it away with a light news week. We found at least a couple things to fill your eardrums here because we had a know-nothing week last week. So one big news item and kind of one reveal from a book we're not going to talk about this week because it's on my shunned list. But regardless, Trevitt, take it away.
All right, so it was a slow to a fucking crawl news week. But we got a couple things Brandon found. First is Marvel teases Hulk's return. So it seems two people kind of, I don't know if I want to say spoiled, but there was Alex Alonso sent out a tweet for No Surrender that had an advertisement, like some promotional art on it, and it had Hulk's teeth, and it said No Surrender, March 2018. And then he titled it Smash. And then Mark Ruffalo sent out a tweet saying that the Hulk is going to return. He said, Bruce is back, Avengers comic coming out next year. So it looks like that they're going to finally bring Bruce Banner back from the dead. Not that he was dead all too long, but I'm excited about
Yeah.
it, you know?
Yeah, I know, me too.
And
I like just the mythology of the regular Hulk. You know what I'm saying? Like
me
I,
too.
they need to thin the Hulk herd and just have one crazy Hulk running around.
It's the psychosis of him. Like it's the
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
about his
that's the
many
best part about the Hulk
personalities.
story.
It
Yeah,
really is. It's the best part. And they never really, like, Amadeus Cho is not that troubled, deranged character that Bruce Banner, because Bruce Banner had like that abuse when he was a child. Like his father was super abusive and used to beat him. Like Amadeus Cho doesn't have any of that stuff that makes the Hulk the Hulk. You know, I mean, I know he's
Mhm.
dealing with his
They're
little
trying to
pretty.
do it a little now. Yeah.
They are, like, he's got his, like, oh, I'll lose my temper, I got anger problems, and like, but it's not the same. Like the motivation for the character isn't there. You know what I mean? Other
Yeah.
than being a Hulk, he has no real reason for the rage. So with Bruce Banner, it's just his character is way more rich, and it just makes way more sense that he would be that way. You know. But I'm excited. I'm glad that something is actually going to come out of No Surrender. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I didn't know who the villain was. I didn't know if anything cool was going to happen. I
Yeah,
know all
we're
the Avengers
debating
books are.
if that's going to be something like big enough. We'll bring you guys every issue of, because it's kind of the weekly story.
Yeah, one thing
I
I
guess
like
we'll see
about it.
what's going on with when January hits and it kicks off with like other books coming out and stuff.
Yeah, the one thing the idea I do like about it is, like, you know how, like, sometimes, like, remember Batman Eternal, you look at the credits and like one issue is written by like 6 people. Like this,
Yeah, no.
one issue is written by a person. So like first week would be Mark Waid, second week would be like Jim Zub, third week would be Al Ewing, and then we'll cycle back to Mark Waid. So they do have enough time. Like each one of them has like a month, maybe, you know, a month to 3 weeks. One of them's going to have 3 weeks to think up like a story, to think up 2 stories, but the other two are going
Yeah.
to have a month to think up the story of their issue. So it's not going to feel so rushed. And I've been enjoying Jim Zub, Uncanny Avengers so far. Not so much Mark Waid's Avengers. It's hit or miss. And Al Ewing's pretty good. I mean, I love Al Ewing, but you know, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, it's a
Yeah.
lot better. And then this week, and there's a huge reveal in Spectacular Spider-Man. I guess I was flipping through it when you told me about it, the end of the story. So I guess like and Jonah Jameson is having like some kind of mental breakdown and feeling really bad about himself, and Peter Parker pulls off the mask and reveals that he's Spider-Man to JJ. So that's a big deal. I don't know if
Yeah.
that plays in the regular universe, because I mean, I'm 3 issues behind on Spectacular Spider-Man, but from what I have read from it, I always like got the feeling that it was an Elseworld story, because this is just how it feels. So
Mhm.
I don't know if this is going to have any consequences in the regular Amazing Spider-Man book or not, or what's going to happen, because I mean, who knows?
I'm gonna at Dan Slott right now and see if we can get an answer to this.
Yeah, I mean, because come on, like you can't have like a big reveal like this, and then in all the other Spider-Man books, what, he doesn't know anything. I mean, he doesn't play a big part in Amazing Spider-Man as it is, because he doesn't work at the Bugle anymore, or run the Bugle. But you know, it's just weird. We'll see what
All right, here's
happens.
my tweet. I'm sending it now because the last time we sent a tweet, we didn't get a response. Who did we send it to?
Oh God, who did we?
Rosenberg, I think. It
Rosen
was
was
something
it
about,
Rosenberg?
yeah, something about secret warriors.
Oh yeah, okay,
Um,
yep.
this is the tweet. Let me know if it's worded right. We'll do this on air. Bad radio here. Dan Slott, does Spectacular Spider-Man 6 reveal carry over into Amazing Spider-Man eventually? Does that sound good?
That sounds good. Sounds right.
All right, sending it. There we
See if
go.
Mister
We'll keep you updated throughout the episode because Dan Slott is a Twitter maniac. So
he is a Twitter maniac.
yeah, we'll see
He
if we get
better.
a response here. All right, continue.
It's weird how you know what I find weird sometimes, like some writers will like answer you right back, or at least shoot you a like or something, but some people just like ignore tweets like it's nobody's
Yeah,
business, like it's crazy.
yeah, he's all over Twitter though, so we might get something out of this. So we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully he answers back.
Yeah,
But that's it. I mean, there was another story that I didn't punch up, but I found it kind of funny, where Monster Energy Drink is suing Marvel Comics for the rights to Monster Unleashed, because you know they have the comic called Monsters Unleashed, which they've had fucking forever, since 10 years before I was born, and then Monster has like a Monster Unleashed campaign. So, you know, like Unleash the Beast, and then it'll say Monster, and then Unleashed at the bottom of this stupid little advertising poster. So they're suing them for the rights because I guess when Marvel trademarked the current series, they trademarked it as of 2017. So their ad campaign was before that, so they're suing for the right to use it, even though Marvel has been using that name since 1973. So it's still kind of, it's murky. So we'll see what happens when they go to court. But I'm sure once they pop out that fucking 40-something-year-old comic, you know, the court's not gonna laugh at mine. Come on, seriously?
Yeah.
You can't claim trademark on something that another company did 40-something years ago. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, trademark law is crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, this could
It's
go
a
on for
murky
months.
area. I used to hate doing that shit in business law. You'd have to argue for either side, and it would drive me crazy. But yeah, I think that's all the news, right?
Yeah, that's all the news. I mean, I dug, scraped, looked for everything. The only other story was the real story behind that stupid crossover that Marvel was going to do with that weapons company. That's like the biggest news story I could find for Marvel.
Yeah. Who cares?
And who cares about that
garbage.
shit? The only thing worth mentioning about that is that Sean Chen was going to do the art, and I don't see Sean Chen do much these days, and he's a spectacular artist. So, just want to say, Marvel, give that guy a fucking book. He's amazing. Anyway, that's it.
All right, so yeah, we're going to wrap up the beginning section here, guys. We're going to head off to the books after this quick little break.